Hey y'all, welcome back to M. Jones Style. I'm Marcia and I garden in Zone 8A, North Texas. Well guys, it's August and is it hot down here in Texas? I wanted to take you through to give you a tour of my garden at the beginning of August and to let you know what's going on and what's not going so well. So come along with me and let's take this garden tour. Let's go. Okay, y'all, so I rarely show you my front garden bed because it's pretty self-sufficient. These plants have been out here for quite some time and they just do so well. The only thing that I have to keep up is the weeding and a little bit of the cutback. But as far as them being divas in the garden, they are definitely not. So we'll start on this end over here. Now, I saw a snake out here earlier, so you know I have to be very cautious, and if I start screaming, that's the reason why. All right, so this is my bridal's wreath, and it bloomed back in the spring. It was a beautiful show. It had white flowers all over it and smelled really nice. This right here is a Yopon holly that took a beating in a snowstorm a couple of years ago. So I made it into a topiary, and I keep it pruned up with these balls, and I just think that is a cute little way to try and make that plant still look very pretty. I've got my irises over here and they've already bloomed. I need to do a little bit of cleanup on my irises. This is my Henry Duelberg salvia that does so well. And back over there in the distance is a really beautiful abelia plant. Now look at my Texas sage. It has all these blooms on it, guys, and that usually tells you there's a rain coming or they bloom after a rain, and there is no rain in the forecast for the next 7 days. But isn't that a beautiful, beautiful blossom on this hedge? I also have more abelia over there in the distance. I've got a boxwood that I planted right there. I have more irises. Now in the fall, I'm going to clean out my irises and thin them out so that they will grow and be able to put on more production in the next spring. Back over there in the distance is a society garlic that's getting bigger every day. I have another abelia right there. More of the Duelberg salvia. And then over here are my dwarf Yopon hollies. They're my hedges that have been here since we moved into the home. They are about 17 or 18 years old. So they have really done well. I usually prune them once a year in the fall. And that is the entrance over there and my front porch. Now this barrier here is to keep the deer out because they would come right through here and eat up all of my pretty little plants. This is what I call my rose garden, or actually my perfume garden. All of my roses have bloomed. I've got some cone flower over there. It's already bloomed. Things are looking a little sad because this is the 1st of August and it is extremely hot out here. We are going to be having 100-degree temperatures over the next week. More abelia, my beautiful Texas sage, and more irises here, another abelia, and right here is a privet that is taller than my house, but that ends the front of my garden. So I'll take you around here so that you can see it this way. And now we'll move on to another area. So here is my east side garden and how it is doing here in the beginning of August 2026. So let's take a look at it in detail. Well, we're on the east side garden, and my Russian sage is still performing. I will tell you that I did plant some coreopsis down here and around, all around this side, and the deer came through and ate every single blossom that it put out. So I'm gonna have to move those to the inside of the gate in the fall. I've got my mealy sage here that's still blooming. And as I go on into my garden, I'm seeing all the bumbles enjoying their morning breakfast. Here's one right here. So guys, the garden is coming along. I still have some marigolds that are trying to bloom. I did head them every day. I threw out these seeds about a month ago, and so I have some zinnias on this side. Now, I covered this plant right here because you see all the brown that's on it. I'm thinking that I may be losing that one, so I gave it some baking soda and water, drenched it with that, and I gave it an umbrella to take some of that heat off of it during the day, because this side gets morning sun. More of the zinnias that I threw out. I just threw the seeds out, and I have some zinnias over here. More of the mealy blue sage. And on this side, I've got a pot over here full of plants that are growing. That is the creeping Jenny down here. And right here is the Engelmann's daisy. My penstemon, they're growing. They're new in the ground, so I'm having to water those every day. Here is my bowl of plants that are just doing so well. I just love succulents. They don't take a lot of time and energy, and they really do perform well, especially in the sun. So I moved my plumeria over here because, guys, it was not blooming, and I said it needs some more sun. So I moved it over here yesterday, and I'm going to keep an eye on it to see if it will continue to grow and produce some flowers, because this does get some intense sun right about noon. This is my creeping lemon thyme, and I think I was giving it too much water, so I pull back on the water, and I'll see if it starts to put out more foliage. Over here are some of my pots. This right here is a clematis that I will be putting in the ground once fall comes in. And I have my boxwood basil that has really recovered. Needs a little bit of deadheading. That just keeps it growing. Look at this. Here is a Gerber daisy. I have a salvia there. And look at this beautiful verbena. Guys, I just keep clipping it off, deadheading it, and it just keeps bouncing back. My rose bush is doing much better. It had some black spot on it, and I put a treatment on it, and it's doing much, much better and continuing to grow up the arbor. But look over here. Miss Peggy Martin, she is almost over to the other side. Coming from over here and establishing her roots even more so that next spring she'll put on a great performance. More marigolds. My silver sage is still producing. Here is my limelight hydrangea that has not bloomed. Now guys, I'm gonna move it again for the 4th time in the fall. Give it more sun to see what will happen. I'm determined to make that plant perform for me. If not, I'll just buy me another one. And there's a pot of Gerber daisies, some calibrachoa. It's kind of slowed down a little bit, but it has lots and lots of green foliage. So let's go on in to the arbor. Everything over here is still holding on. I'm having to water every day, guys. My rose moss, it'll open up a little bit later on. One little beautiful Gerber daisy. But this is the showstopper, my fall obedient plant. Look at how it has started to bloom. And look at these beautiful, beautiful blossoms. Oh, it's just so pretty. I just love it so much. Now over on this side, we've got some lamb's ear, Helen Bonstein. I have over here my plants that have really not grown. It's my junipers, but they do have berries. Now my salvia greyi, it has taken a break. It's not blooming right now, just a few blooms down here. But it will bounce back once the weather breaks. Now this bubblegum petunia by Proven Winners, it has not performed for me the way I've seen other people's perform. So I'm glad I didn't spend a lot of money on that. My Veronica, look at how pretty it is. So pretty. And guys, look at that. It's just so gorgeous. More lamb's ear. But then again, my verbena in this pot just keeps giving and giving and giving. This is a plant that I deadhead. I've deadheaded it at least 3 times this summer, and it just keeps bouncing back. The mandevilla, it is growing as well. And this is the one that I overwintered in my garden. Not garden, my garage. Isn't that a pretty plant? Oh, it's just so pretty. Oh. And an overview of my island garden. The plants are hanging on, but they are stressed. So I am out here watering every day. But I have a new addition to this area. I recently purchased a hammock, and I'm sure you can see it over there in the distance. The problem with the hammock is when I sit on it, I end up on the ground because it's not installed correctly. We are going to have to get back out here and figure out how to get it up higher so that when you sit in it, it is perfect. Okay guys, so we'll go on into the secret garden and take a look at my Rose of Sharon that's in pink. I have to keep it caged up because of the bunnies. More abelias here lining this pathway. Here is a beautiful mom, and it will bloom in the fall, and I'll be sure to show you it because it's so pretty when it blooms. We've got over here another Rose of Sharon. It has not bloomed yet, but it's supposed to be purple. I do see a bud on it though, several as a matter of fact. All right, guys. So this plant that looked really bad when I purchased it, I've been watering it every day, and look at this. It's blooming. Isn't that gorgeous? My hostas are struggling, still being eaten by the roly-polies. And over here is my Turk's cap. It has some beautiful, pretty red flowers on it right here. Let's see if I can get that to focus. Coleus is growing. I deadheaded the flowers off of it. Here's a flower here that I need to take off, but it's doing very well. Now this right here, it was in the ground and something just pulled it out of the ground, so I just stuck it in here with the coleus. My polka dot plant. It's doubled in size. Here is my oak leaf hydrangea. Another abelia. And my hellebore, it's over here and it's growing. It should hang on and bloom in the winter. So guys, the plants are really very tired, but I'm having to give supplemental water, and I need to check them every day. I check them morning and night to make sure that they're going to be okay. Now this big pot right here is still hanging on, but I turned it because my coral bell was starting to brown a little bit. See there? But these guys right here, they are doing fantastic. Now something I need to show you guys. I don't know if you've ever heard of an epi plant, epiphylium, I think that's what it's called. Well, they bloom. Can you see that right there? Let me put my hand on it. That right there is going to be the most gorgeous flower in a few days. But let me tell you what it does. It's very sneaky. It blooms at night. So if you don't keep an eye on it and come out early in the morning, you'll miss the bloom because it'll close up and it will fall off. I've got lots and lots of basil, and I've already cut some of it and dried it up and made me an herb out of it, a dry herb. My chives, I need to do something with them. I have not cut those off. I still am very proud of my Japanese maple. Guys, look how it's doing. It's still alive. That makes me so happy because, like I said, I can kill them without notice. And just another look down through the secret garden this way. Now we're over here in my new pathway, and I'll give you an update on that. But before we get started, let's look at my El Nino Chatalpa. It has grown like 3 times the size it was when I first put it in. There have been no blossoms this summer, but I think it's because of all the heat. It is hanging on though. And then over in this area, you remember I put in this fire bush, and guys, it is starting to bloom. And there's the bloom. So I think it's getting settled in, and hopefully it will continue to perform. But let's go on down into my new pathway. I'm not completely finished with it, but I did get all of the flagstone laid, and I got the decomposed granite put in. Now I need to go back and put in my pea gravel. I'm hoping to plant some things on either side of this pathway in the fall, but we'll see how that goes. My peach tree that gave no peaches this year, it is still doing pretty good. So I'm keeping that watered. All right then, guys, over here is my flamethrower redbud. Having a struggle this year. There is a worm that's eating on it, and I'll put it on the screen as to what worm it is, but it's only cosmetic. It will not kill the tree. So I'm going to have to wait out and see if next year it will do better. Over here on my Breezeway patio, I have a pot of mandevilla. I have the white and the red. And this purple hyacinth bean over here has made it all the way up this gate. And I planted this probably about 6 weeks ago. So hopefully I'll be able to get me some beans off of that for next year. My cowpen daisy, it's still blooming. Now I had to take a lot of it out because it self-seeds so prolifically that you have to keep an eye on it. So let's go on over here and let me show you my other hyacinth bean vine. It's right over here, and it's growing up this trellis. This is a great plant, guys, and the great thing about it is that it is an annual, but you can have it every year because you collect the beans and plant them the following year. I'm over here on the west side of my garden, and I have more self-seeding zinnias. I planted some zinnias in this bed here, but they never came up. Only a few of them, and you see how they're still very small, but these are self-seeded, and so I still have zinnias. And what's so funny about it, guys, is that all of them are different. Like, see, this style, and then this style here, and I have a few more that are different. So more of the zinnias here. I'm going to deadhead these and save these seeds. The seeds are the ones when you pull this out. You see that at the end of there? That's the seed. Now my cactus in my desert garden, they're doing well, but I have to keep an eye on these zinnias because I have a Soto cactus here, and I don't want them to overcrowd my cactus. Isn't that a nice specimen? And it's giving off all these little pups all throughout my garden. Now my favorite is this Spanish dagger, and guys, I haven't even watered it, and look how beautiful it is. So the beauty of having cactus is that they don't require all that water. especially down here in Texas where we get so hot and we stay in the 3-degree temperatures, so it can be really hard on your plants. Now out here on the west side in this area, of course my grass is dead. I still have my Carolina cypress and they're still growing. I make sure that they get watered. My smoke bush over here, it's growing, but for some reason it's not dark, it's green. But it's still doing well and it's still very healthy. It's taking this hot sun, so that's a good thing. Over here is what I wanted to show you, which is my angel garden, and my pride and joy is straight ahead. I'll be getting to that in just a minute. But here is my Mexican buckeye. It's hanging on. My Gara over here on the corner, it came back from last year. And it's gotten bigger than it was last year. Not as many blooms, but I think that once the weather breaks, I think that it will put on more blooms. My vincas are still growing. My Asiatic lilies, they're on their way out. They'll come back next year. I have a lemon coral sedum down there that looks like to me it's getting too much water. But right here, guys, is my biggest hyacinth bean vine, and look at it. It's all the way up here. And guys, it is crowding my abelia plant that's off in here. See those pretty flowers right there? And over here, and look at this one right here. But it's not killing it. That's a really strong plant. Some more vincas, and guys, look at my echinacea. It has already bloomed, and I'm going to leave these seed pods on here, the heads on here, because it's good for the environment and for the insects and habitat. My Texas star hibiscus, it has bloomed all summer. Right now it's taking a break. Now my phlox over here is not looking too good, so I think I'm going to get out here and cut that back, and next year hopefully it will come back and make a beautiful plant. Over here is another self-seeded zinnia, but this one is red. Well, kind of a red-orange. It started out red and now it's an orange color, and it's very unique and pretty. Over in the distance there is some society garlic, my rock rose, my Jerusalem sage. It's already performed for the season, and so it's hanging on as best it can. I've got some salvia greyi in blue. Now guys, this started out purple and now it's a beautiful, beautiful blue color. Isn't that lovely? And finally, guys, over here on my second patio is another purple hyacinth bean that's growing in this raised bed. And I have found that they don't do as well in raised beds. They do need to go in the ground. So I will note that for next year. I also have some cosmos that are growing in this raised bed. And I cannot believe how large the cosmos are. They have lots of foliage, really big root stalks, but no blossoms. But right over here, I think I'm going to get a couple of flowers. So I'm real excited to see what color they're going to be. Guys, that's my garden tour for the beginning of August. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're doing well. And I hope you'll come back and join me again out here in my garden. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.